All right. Week 1 in the books, there's going to be a lot of Twitter questions, KB. So
yeah, they were pouring in for early on a Tuesday morning.
They've been ready. They had to wait after the morning after on Monday, so they've had them stockpiling. We'll start with Creighton. During Sunday's game, which of the Colts offensive linemen gave up the most pressures, or which lineman did the worst?
I would say Jamarcus Webb. That to me seemed to be kind of a trouble spot. I thought Joe Haig did a nice job, Joey. That was his first career snap at left tackle in an NFL regular season game. So, yeah, I thought Joe Haig did a good job over there. And all in all, I don't think the O-line was that much of an issue. Run game is going to be a problem all season long. But I thought 2 sacks and 53 pass attempts, that's not bad. So, I didn't think Webb was great. And Webb did injure his hamstring on the Jack Doyle fumble. He got laid out on that fumble. Right hamstring. Frank Reich, who is not going to reveal anything about injuries all year long, I've come to know. That's something to watch, because if Costanzo for some reason isn't back week 2, are you starting Braden Smith at right tackle on the road? Just something keeping an eye on. But I thought, Quentin Nelson, he had a holding penalty on the Geno Atkins play, but I would say probably Webb.
And when you say the running game is going to be an issue all year, though, is that more just because of the lack of playmakers back there, or the offensive line, or just a tandem of?
I just don't know if I trust his offensive line to open up holes on a consistent basis. I think your running backs were like 3.1 per carry, 3.2 per carry, and Cincinnati was like 5 per carry. I think Marlon Mack, Anthony Costanzo will help things. I think where your run game is going to have to be truly effective, Joey, is honestly probably just your underneath passing game, and B, I think you got to get a little bit more horizontal with the run game. I know that's scary, but you're going to have to bounce things to the outside with Hines and Wilkins and Mack. I just don't know how successful you're going to be in between the tackles.
All right, this is from Matthew. Is Adam Vinatieri human? I mean, he's still money from over 50 yards.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, he had a 51-yarder. He did miss the 55-yarder.
Right. Yep.
And, I saw a couple of people, I think, chirping on Twitter, Joey, that, he doesn't have it anymore from north of 50. The guy is, 75% from 50-plus yards over the last 3 years, and he clearly just did not hit that 55-yarder well. And he was hit. I was watching him in warm-ups. He was hitting from 60, and we saw him in the preseason, 57?
Yeah, I think
in that
so.
Baltimore game, I think. So length is not an issue with Adam Vinatieri, but that was a big miss. That was a miss that you gave Cincinnati great field position.
Yep. This is from Ross. Great work, Cabo and 1070. Longtime fan up in Canada.
Oh.
Thanks for the great pod. Number 1,
Thank you, Ross.
From your view, did Luck turn up the fastball any on game day? And number 2, now that Pat McAfee is a free agent, would you ever consider having him on the pod for a segment? Got to be some ex-Colt stories there.
I would love that. That is a great idea. Man, sounds like a great off-season pod, Joey. Both of us have worked with Pat before, so I think that's a great idea. We should probably look at maybe a bye-week pod, kind of give Pat McAfee's update on the midway point of the season.
That would be awesome.
His other question was about
the fastball. Did Luck turn it up?
I'm not too worried about his arm strength. To be 73% passer, throwing 53 times, you got to have pretty good arm strength to do that. Yes, I still have questions about how willing this team will be to pump it down the field. I mean, Frank Reich talked yesterday on his conference call, and he has this weird formula about explosive plays. He said he was okay with the Colts being even in the turnover battle, but they were -4 under his formula on explosive plays. The only play over, I think, 18 yards was the Ebron touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what there were times you attempted deep passes. Hilton had one, Ryan Grant had another. You look like you were trying to dial some stuff up, but you weren't successful in completing those. So I don't have any issues about the arm strength from Luck, but I just think going back to the run game, Joey, to keep safeties honest, you've got to go down the field a little bit. You've got to show that Hilton can get behind a defense. So I think you got to dial up some shots, especially when Anthony Costanzo gets healthy.
Clayton Clifford asks, which rookie had the best game?
I'd say Leonard. Yeah. And I think Hines, I know he didn't produce at an extremely, extremely high level.
Still, he was running it. He was catching it.
He was moving the chains for you. And he gives you now Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, former Colt, DC. Minuski's got to be like, okay, 20. We might need a scout team player wearing jersey number 21,
Right?
Just because he lines up in a multitude of areas. So, yeah, I would say that was Leonard to me for sure, and then probably Hines second.
You mentioned Darius Leonard, and Tyler Alexander says Darius Leonard is a beast on the field. True or false? He leads the team in tackles this season.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think true. I mean, maybe Clayton Gathers would push him for that. I thought the safeties were a little rusty, Joey. Probably something that we expected a little bit. I don't think that I think Hooker was on a pitch count for sure. Farley probably got 3 series of work. Farley's
punch that out.
Farley's a good player. Man, we've always talked about that. Farley just gets it. But yeah, Gathers had that one missed tackle. Would have been a tough tackle on Mixon on a 3rd and 1, but Mixon broke it, I think, for 27 yards. So, and then had the penalty. So, yeah, I would say Darius Leonard, your leading tackler.
Chicago Colton's looking ahead to the forecast this weekend already.
Oh, boy.
He says, looks like the game is going to be played in the rain. On a messy field, does Reich's offense, quick passes, etc., provide us with any advantage?
Can the Colts not catch a break weather-wise?
I mean, they did on Sunday, though, right? I mean, they were indoors.
Right,
so.
But think about their last 2 road games in 2017.
Right. Baltimore and Buffalo.
The monsoon
Yikes.
and the blizzard.
Yeah.
And now we got Hurricane Florence. Gotta love that, tracking weather.
I'm tired of watching rainy football already.
God, week 1 was everywhere.
Week 1 of the NFL and week 2 college football is just
the Dolphins had like a 7-hour game.
Yeah.
But Joey, I actually think it is a big storyline. So right now, I don't know. I've looked at early forecasts, like maybe 3 to 5 inches
Holy smokes.
in the D.C. area. But I think it's supposed to landfall. And obviously, first off, our thoughts to everybody in that area. Hopefully, everyone is safe, most importantly. And then on a much, much lesser extent, it will be interesting to see if the Colts' travel schedule is affected at all or how they handle things. The field, FedEx Field, is just east of D.C., so a little bit closer to the coast. Landover, Maryland, is where the Redskins play.
Yeah.
And look what Washington did week 1. I mean, they ran it. Adrian Peterson turned back that clock.
Yeah.
So it would seem to favor Washington, and Alex Smith really wants to dink and dunk it. But I think it would favor Washington. Granted, if the Colts are going to use a similar game plan, it shouldn't be too difficult on the Colts. I just think on the road it's tougher, and the Colts didn't really show a sign of being a very productive run team.
Stan Cal always coming at you with the personal questions here, KB. He says,
I'm nervous.
Way to bury the lead last week about your 1-year anniversary at 1070. Looking back, what is one thing, legitimate or imagined, that made you hesitate before taking the job, and one thing that incited you to take it?
That is a good question. Oh, gosh, I forgot we're doing this on video. I'm texting right now. Well, I honestly didn't have really any hesitancy on taking it. This is a great opportunity, and very grateful for the past year here at Emmis. And as Joey has mentioned a few times on the podcast, we had a morning show the morning after Jeff Saturday. If you guys missed that, check that out, 7 to 10 on Monday mornings throughout the year, a Friday morning after the New England game in Week 5. But if you're out of town, you can check that out. Listen online to 1070 The Fan. So, yeah, I had no hesitancy. And what was the other question? What was the other tidbit?
One thing that incited you to take it.
I would say the freedom. Working for a team. I'm very grateful for the time I had working for the Colts, for sure. But you just don't have the same freedom, working for a more normal media outlet versus working for a team. So the on-air exposure and just being able to do this,
Sure.
We did a little, I did a little bit of radio and audio stuff over at the Colts, but certainly not as expansive as Kevin's Corner.
All right, Chuck DeBlue, how many of the Colts' remaining 15 games will they face a team with an equal or superior quarterback to Andrew Luck?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Brady?
Yeah, New England.
Is that it? I mean, it's not
Don't play New Orleans.
No.
Don't play Pittsburgh.
As crazy as it sounds, and people will be pissed about it, some would say Phillip Rivers. Equal,
Definitely. Over time in his career.
You aren't playing Aaron Rodgers. How about him Sunday night?
Who knows if he's going to play in week 2?
Right.
He could have been playing on a little torrent something.
Yeah. So yeah, Joey. I mean, when you look at the schedule, am I missing somebody?
Let's look it up.
AFC South teams, no. Eli Manning, no. Dak Prescott, no. Buffalo, what is Buffalo doing? Start Josh
I
Allen.
don't think they know. You see, they're going to review the tape.
What?
Should be a quick session.
What is their review? My mother could review that tape and say Nathan Peterman should be playing in the XFL.
You don't want to make too many, week one assumptions, but after last night, you feel a little bit better about going to Oakland. That's just kind of, I just looking at the schedule right now.
I mean, Carr would have been a quarterback, but I don't, obviously Sam Darnold, no, obviously.
He looked good last night.
Maybe Carson Wentz in week 3, but I mean, it could be his first game back. Alex Smith, no. So yeah.
Yeah, there's
Brady, that's
really
it.
Tom Brady.
Which is crazy. And that's why you have a chance every week.
For sure. Yep, he showed that on Sunday. Chad Ramsey says, I'm not a fan of doing this at all, but at what point would the Colts move on from Luck if he has another substantial injury?
Oh my
Would it
God.
take a perfect draft opportunity?
Jesus, Chad?
Just after we
Yeah.
talked about that.
Boy. God, glad I'm not having lunch with Chad today.
Mm-hmm.
It would, I can't believe I'm answering it. It would take a catastrophic injury, Joey. I mean, it would take a season ender, probably with that same body part.
Yeah.
And I guess you would hold on to Jacoby Brissett for now. There's no quarterback in this draft class. Like, let's say the Colts go 5-11, 4-12, whatever, and they're drafting top 5. There's no quarterback in this draft class at all that is even being talked about, I think, as of any of those 4 from last year.
Not drafting Will Greer.
No. Yeah, Will Greer, Drew Lock, the kid from Oregon. No.
Drew Lock? Huh?
Drew Lock is a Missouri quarterback, I think.
See, I don't even know. I love college football.
Isn't Purdue playing Missouri this week?
Yeah.
Maybe you wait the next year. That kid from Georgia, from Tua.
Oh, wow. The lefty.
But no, I can't believe I just spent a minute answering that. Sorry.